sinus tachycardia. How should I define sinus tachycardia? What is the definition of the sinus tachycardia? Sinus tachycardia is a sinus rhythm in which the heart rate becomes more than 100 beats per minute. Sinus tachycardia is a sinus rhythm in which the heart rate becomes more than 100 beats per minute. The characteristic feature of sinus tachycardia are three things. The first one is the heart rate is more than 100 beats per minute. For example, this is a rhythm and this is a sinus rhythm. Between two QRS complex, we have got between two QRS complex, we have got two large square. When we divide 300 by 2, it is become 150 beats per minute. So sinus tachycardia is a sinus rhythm in which the heart rate becomes more than 100 beats per minute. This is the one and nice and good criteria for definition of the sinus criteria. The second thing, the P wave should be upright, or the P wave is upright in lead 2 and inverted in lead AVR. The P wave is upright in lead 2 and inverted in lead AVR. And every P wave is followed by QRS complex. P wave followed by QRS complex. P wave followed by QRS complex. P wave followed by QRS complex. Key points of the sinus tachycardia. Heart rate is more than 100 beats per minute. P wave is upright in lead 2 and inverted in lead AVR. Every P wave is followed by a QRS complex. Again, we'll define for you sinus tachycardia. What is the sinus tachycardia? Sinus tachycardia is the sinus rhythm in which the heart rate becomes more than 100 beats per minute. The characteristic feature of the sinus tachycardia are first, the heart rate is more than 100 beats per minute. The P wave is upright in lead 2 and inverted in lead AVR. Every P wave is followed by QRS complex. This is the characteristic feature or the key points of the ECG of those people who have got sinus tachycardia. It is rare for sinus tachycardia to heart rate exceed 180 beats per minute. At this heart rate, it is difficult to differentiate T waves from P waves. So it is confused with AVR, atrioventricular reintent tachycardia. For example, in this case, just this is P wave. Is it you accept that this is P wave? But there is no T wave. There is no T wave and there is no P wave. So this things. Just we have got one wave, and it is suspected whether it is P wave or T wave. Right? It is rare for sinus tachycardia to exceed more than 180 beats per minute. At this heart rate, it is difficult to differentiate T waves from P wave. So it is confused with atrioventricular reintent tachycardia for this example. Right now we will be talking about the physiological causes of sinus tachycardia. What is the physiological causes of sinus tachycardia? Physiological sinus tachycardia include those things which stimulate parasympathetic nerve system. Physiological sinus tachycardia. Physiological sinus tachycardia include those things which stimulate parasympathetic nerve system. For example, drugs. Especially adrenaline, another atropine, the second salbutamol, don't forget inhaler and nebulizer. In addition to that, caffeine and alcohol. The physiological causes of sinus tachycardia. Physiological sinus tachycardia include those things which stimulate sympathetic nerve system. For example, drugs. Which drugs? For example, anxiety. For example, anxiety, pain, stress, another fear, fever. Exercise. Again, physiological cause of sinus tachycardia include of anxiety, pain, fever, and exercise. This is the physiological cause of sinus tachycardia. Before I made a mistake and I told you about the drug, but the drug is not included in this case. In this case, just anxiety, pain, fear, fever, and exercise. This is the physiological causes of sinus tachycardia. Right now we'll be discussing about the pathological causes of sinus tachycardia. First, drugs. Which drug? Especially adrenaline, atropine, salbutamol, and don't forget inhaler and nebulizer. In addition to that, we should also think about the caffeine and alcohol and theophylline. These are the pathological causes of sinus tachycardia, which is described under the topic of the drugs. The common drugs which lead to sinus tachycardia include of adrenaline, atropine, salbutamol, don't forget inhaler and nebulizer, and you should also think about the alcohol, caffeine, and theophylline. This was the pathological causes of the sinus tachycardia. In addition to that, right now the second cause of sinus tachycardia is ischemic heart disease and myocardial infarction. And another CHF or heart failure, P for short pulmonary embolism. and the last one is anemia, and another one is fluid loss. Pathological cause of sinus bradycardia is started from drugs, especially adrenaline, atropine, salbutamol, don't forget inhaler and nebulizer, caffeine and alcohol. Other causes, for example, IHD and myocardial infarction, heart failure, pulmonary embolism, anemia and fluid loss, anxiety and hyperthyroidism. These are the pathological causes of sinus tachycardia. Right, management. The management of sinus tachycardia is directed toward the underlying cause. For example, the patient have got anxiety, you try for the patient individual or beta blocker. But there is a two term which is called appropriate tachycardia and another is inappropriate tachycardia. Pay attention about these two things. Those patients have got appropriate tachycardia. Those patients have got appropriate tachycardia compensating for low blood pressure due to anemia and blood loss. In such a cases, you should not try beta blocker because you convert compensating state to decompensated and the clinical situation of the patient will be furtherly deteriorated. So we should not forget during the discussion of the tachycardia two terms. One is appropriate tachycardia and another is inappropriate tachycardia. Those patients who have got appropriate tachycardia compensating for low blood pressure due to anemia and fluid loss. In such a cases, you should not try for the patient beta blocker because this compensating state is converted to decompensating state and the clinical situation of the patient may be furtherly deteriorated or worse. This was the one thing. But in case of inappropriate tachycardia, what is inappropriate tachycardia? For example, hyperthyroidism and anxiety. In such a case, beta blocker is helpful. But in cases of the compensating, in case of compensation, you shouldn't try for the patient beta blocker. But in case of inappropriate, we should try for the patient. But in case of appropriate, for example, blood loss or fluid loss, anemia, in such a cases, we should not try for the patient beta blocker because this beta blocker convert compensating state to decompensating state, and the clinical situation of the patient will be furtherly deteriorated. Right now, another things.
Warning, sir.
Yeah, warning for the sinus tachycardia. What is the warning? Look, this is a very nice thing because when you are sitting in your private clinic, those people, a lot of people is complaining from tachycardia. When you take the ECG, this patient have got sinus tachycardia. There is no need that you immediately start for the patient Indirol or beta blocker. First, you should try to find the cause, and then you should make decision to start for this patient beta blockers or not. They say warning. What is this warning? In sinus tachycardia, never use beta blocker to slow the heart rate until you have established the diagnosis. If you do not make the diagnosis of sinus tachycardia, you are not allowed to give for the patient Indirols or beta blocker. Warning. What is the warning in sinus tachycardia? Never use beta blocker. Never use beta blocker to which patient? Never use beta blocker to slow the heart rate. To slow the heart rate until you have established the diagnosis. When you are making a complete diagnosis, then you will start for the patient beta blocker in case of the sinus tachycardia. There is another term is also discussed under the topic of the persistent tachycardia. What is persistent tachycardia? In persistent tachycardia, the diagnosis may be incorrect. When you use these terms and we try for the patient to treat and we have failed to treat, we use the treatment of the persistent sinus tachycardia. In persistent sinus tachycardia, first of all, we should think our diagnosis may be incorrect. And it is confused with atrial flutter and atrial fibrillation. In this case, in this persistent tachycardia, there is re-entry or sulcus movement may be present within the sinus node, which is responsive with Valsalva monod, or it is terminated with Valsalva monod. So it should be differentiated from atrial flutter and atrial fibrillation. So persistent sinus tachycardia. Persistent sinus tachycardia is a tachycardia in which our diagnosis may be wrong or it may be incorrect. It is confused with atrial flutter and atrial fibrillation. In such a case, in the SA node, there is re-entry or sulcus movement is present, which is response or which is terminated after Valsalva maneuver. We will have a detailed discussion about the Valsalva maneuver, especially in the part of the AVR and AVNR, atrioventricular reentrant tachycardia or intranodal reentrant tachycardia. This was about the sinus tachycardia. In a previous lecture, we discussed about the normal sinus rhythm and sinus bradycardia. Right now, we are discussing about the sinus tachycardia. In those lectures that we have got in the future, we will be discussing about the physiological sinus arrhythmia, and we will be discussing about the sick sinus syndrome.